Good morning, dear students. My name is Ferhan Mazher, and today is 9th of September 2021. Right now, I am with the 11th Cambridge class. The subject we are studying is Physics 5054. It's O levels physics. And today we have set our hearts to solve an MCQ paper. This paper is May June 2004 paper. And it's an MCQ paper. We call it paper 1. It has 40 MCQs. You have 1 hour to solve it. Okay, so let's start from the first question. The question is showing up on your screen. A student has been asked to determine as accurately as possible the volume of a piece of wire. The wire is about 80 centimeter long. The length of the wire is 80 centimeter long and about 0.2 centimeter in diameter. Which measuring instrument should the student use? You see, the length is 80 centimeter long. So for this, we can use a meter rule. And for measuring the diameter of a wire, we always use a micrometer. So I think that the best choice will be, A choice. So let's check the answer. Question number 1, A is the answer. So our answer is right. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the next question. Which quantity x is calculated using this equation? Change in velocity divided by time taken. Change in velocity divided by time taken. This gives you acceleration. Change in velocity divided by time taken is equals to acceleration. So it means, what's the choice? A is the choice. Let's check. Question number 2, A is the choice. Okay, so here we go. Question number 3. The graph shows the movement of a car over a period of 50 seconds. What was the distance traveled by the car while its speed was increasing? The question is, what was the distance traveled by the car while its speed was increasing? The speed was increasing in the first 20 seconds. In the first 20 seconds, the speed is increasing. So we have to find out the distance traveled in these first 20 seconds. So, if this is because this is a speed time graph and you want to find out the distance traveled, the distance traveled will be equals to the area under the speed time graph in the first 20 seconds. If you look at carefully, the area under the first 20 seconds under the speed time graph will be a triangle. The area under the graph will be in the shape of a triangle. The formula for the triangle is 1 by 2 into base into height, half base height. 1 by 2, the base here will be 20 and the height here will be 10. I've done this on a paper. Let me show you my solution. Okay, so the distance will be equals to 1 by 2 into base into height. 1 by 2, the base is 20 seconds and the height is 10 meter per second. When you do this calculation, the answer will be 100 meter. So the answer will be 100 meter. Let's check, do we have this option? So we have the C option. Do you understand this question?
Yes, sir.
Question number 3, C is the choice. Our answer is right. So we are moving to the next question. Which relationship defines gravitational field strength? Gravitational field strength, which is small g, that is equals to weight divided by mass. You remember the formula of the weight? W is equals to mg. And if you make the g subject of the formula, g will be equals to W divided by m. W divided by m. Which relationship defines gravitational field strength, which is small g? Clearly, the D is the right option. Do you understand this? For 4, question number, the D is the right option. We have also taken the D option. Now we are on the question number 5 showing up on your screen. A measuring cylinder containing some water stands on a scale pan. A solid ball is lowered into the water. The water level rises from the 30 centimeter cube mark to the 40 centimeter cube mark. The scale reading increases from 100 gram to 180 gram. So you see, when the cylinder is filled with water, its mass is 100 gram and the volume of the water is 30 centimeter cube. So when you lower the ball into that cylinder, the volume of the water becomes 40 centimeter cube and the mass of the whole thing becomes 180 gram. So the volume of the ball will be V2 minus V1, means 40 centimeter cube minus 30 centimeter cube. It will be 10 centimeter cube. That will be the volume of the ball. The mass of the ball will be M2 minus M1, 180 gram minus 100 gram, and it will be 80 gram. Their question is, what's the density of the material of the ball? The formula for the density of the ball is density is equals to mass divided by volume. I know the mass, that's 80 gram. I know the volume, that is 10 centimeter cube. So easily I can find out. Let me show you the solution I have done. This is question number 5 coming up on your screen. This is the solution which I have written. So the volume of the ball will be V2 minus V1, 40 minus 30, 10 centimeter cube. The mass of the ball will be M2 minus M1, 180 minus 100. It will be 80 gram. The density is mass divided by volume, 80 divided by 10, and it will be 8 gram per centimeter cube. Okay, so let's check the option. 8 gram per centimeter cube. Clearly C is the option. Question number 5. Let's check the answer. C is the right option, sir. So do you understand, bete?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are moving to the next question. Question number 6. You see, first of all, I found the volume of the ball. We put the volume of the water in the measuring cylinder was 30 centimeter cube. Then we put the ball into that cylinder. The volume became 40 centimeter cube. The change in the volume is 10 centimeter cube, and that is due to that ball. So the volume of the ball is 10 centimeter cube. The mass of the cylinder and the water was 100 gram. When you put the ball in it, the mass became 180 gram. So 180 gram minus 100 gram, it's 80 gram. That is the mass of the ball. You know the mass of the ball, you know the volume of the ball. You can very easily find out the density of the ball. The formula for the density of the ball is mass divided by volume. 80 divided by 10. It will be 8 gram per centimeter cube. What you say? Do you understand?
सर 80 तक तो समझ आ गई, 8 ग्राम वाला एक दफा फिर बता दो.
Now, look at carefully. Mass divided by volume. The mass is 80 gram, the volume is 10 centimeter cube. The answer will be 8 gram per centimeter cube.
Okay, sir,
now,
समझ आ गई.
Okay, you got it? Good. Okay, so we are on the question number 6. He says, which is a statement of Newton's third law of motion? The Newton's third law of motion says every action means force. Every action has a reaction. Reaction is also a force. Every action has a reaction. Action and reaction both are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. That's the Newton's third law of motion. So A option is every force causes a reaction. Yes, that's true. If there is no resultant force on a body, then there is no acceleration. That is also true. The force acting on a body are always equal. The forces acting on a body are always equal and opposite. We cannot say that. To every action, there is an equal but opposite reaction. The D option is the exact statement of the Newton's third law of motion. To every action, there is an equal but opposite reaction. The best statement here for the Newton's third law. So I think D is the best option. Question was, which is a statement of Newton's third law of motion? Question number 6, D is the option. Let me check the answer. Question number 6, D is the option. Our option is right. What do you say? A car is traveling at constant speed along a road and drives over a large patch of oil. The driver applies the brakes to stop the car. Compared to braking on a dry road, what may happen? You see, when there is oil on the road, due to the oil will be acting as a lubricant between the surface of the tire and the road. So the friction between the tire and the road will reduce due to the oil. So the deceleration value will be less. So the braking distance will become longer. He says the car slows down more quickly because of the greater friction between the tires and the road. This is totally wrong. The car speeds up at first because of the reduced friction between the tires and the road. We cannot say that. The car takes longer to slow down because of the reduced friction between the tires and the road. This can be the answer. The car takes longer to slow down because the thinking distance of the driver is greater. The thinking distance totally depends upon the mental condition of the driver. So now it has nothing to do. The thinking distance has nothing to do with the road conditions. Okay, so the car takes longer to slow down because of the reduced friction between the tires and the road. I think C is the best option. Let's check. Question number 7. C is the right answer, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are going to the next question. The horizontal pole is attached to the side of a building. Here we have a horizontal pole, which is attached to this wall of a building. There is a pivot at the wall, P. This is the pivot. Along this rod can go up, it can go down. This pole can go up, it can come down of the wall, and a chain is connected. Here we have a chain. This is a chain which is attached with this wall here and attached here with the pole, the right end of the pole. There is a pivot P at the wall, and a chain is connected from the end of the pole to a point higher up the wall. There is a tension force T in the chain. Obviously, here in this chain, we will have tension. Tension is also force. What is the moment of the force F about the pivot P? So here, this is the line of action of that force. This is the line of action of that force. And here we have the pivot. The moment is always equals to, the force multiply the perpendicular distance between the pivot and the line of action of the force. The line of action of the force is this. This is the line of action of the force. So the line of action of the force is this line. This is the line of action of the force. Pivot is here. And this is the perpendicular distance between the pivot and the line of action of the force. So the moment will be equals to force F multiply the perpendicular distance between the pivot and the line of action of the force. So F multiplied D. So I think D is the option. It's very important that you remember always that the moment is equals to force multiply perpendicular distance between the pivot and the line of action of the force. So A is the option. Let me check if this is correct answer. Question number 8, A is the right option. Do you understand this? Hello?
Yes,
Got
sir.
it? Samin understands it. Okay, so here we go to the next question. We have to reduce the size a little bit. Okay. A spring balance is calibrated to give readings in newtons. The graph shows how the length of the spring varies with the load. Here we have a graph, and on the y-axis of the graph, the length of the spring is given. Here we have the length of the spring. And on the x-axis, the load is given. On the x-axis, the load is given. A load causes the spring of the balance to extend by 3 centimeters. So when you hung a specific load, the extension is 3, no, length is not 3 centimeters. It's saying extension is 3 centimeters. What is the balance reading? Okay, so let me show you my solution. We have done it here. Okay. So from the graph, I can tell you the unstretched length when there is no load. When the load is 0, the length is called unstretched length, L naught. So from the graph, I can tell that the L naught is 2 centimeters. Extension given in the question is 3 centimeters. So the stretched length, the length when the load is hanging, that is L naught plus the extension. So L naught is 2, extension is 3. So the length, the stretched length will be 5 centimeters. So from the graph, you see, from the graph, I will check from the graph. Let me increase the size so you can see the whole graph. Sorry. Okay. So from the graph, you see, he says the length will be 5. From 5, I will go to the graph. And below that graph, I will check what's the length, what's the load, sorry. I know the stretch length is 5 centimeters. So from the length, that's 5 centimeters. From here, I will go to that graph. And below that point, when it intersects the graph, then I check what's the load. That is 15 Newton. So it means that the answer is how much load you have hung there. 15 Newton. Do you understand this question?
Yes, sir.
This topic is not in the physics matter. Dua, what you say?
हमने 5 क्यों यूज किया है?
Okay, why we use the 5? The unstretched length, when the load is 0, what is the length? 2 centimeters. He says that the extension is 3 centimeters. So what will be the new length? That is L naught plus the extension. 2 centimeters plus 3, 5 centimeters. So when the load is hanging, the length of the spring will be 5 centimeters. What you say? Okay, very good. So we are going to the next question. The next question is question number 10. We have okay. A force of 3 Newton and 4 Newton are acting as shown in the diagram. Which diagram may be used to find the resultant R of these two forces? So you can see in the question, the two forces are given. Both these forces are represented with 2 arrows and their tails are joined. If you want to find out the sum of 2 vectors, or you want to find out the resultant of 2 vectors, and you have put them in such a way that their tails are joined, then we apply always the parallelogram law. In the parallelogram law, the vectors to be added are put together in such a way that their tails are joined. Then we suppose that they are the adjacent sides of a parallelogram. And then we complete that parallelogram. Where the tails are joined, we join that point with the opposite corner of the parallelogram, and that gives us the resultant. Let me show you. I have done this on a paper. Let me show you. Okay, so here you can see on your screen that the 3 Newton force and the 4 Newton force, they have been put in such a way, their vectors have been put in such a way that their tails are joined. Their tails are joined. So now I suppose that they are the adjacent sides of a parallelogram. So I will complete the parallelogram. You see here, equal to this side, I put a side here, equal to this side, I will draw a side here. Okay, now this parallelogram is completed. Where the tails were joined, I will join that point with the opposite corner of the parallelogram. This red line gives me the magnitude of that resultant, and these arrows, the red arrows there, they give you the direction of that resultant force. So the resultant force, which will be the sum of these two vectors, should be represented with this red line. So let's check what is the option. Okay, what the options we have? Oh, I think A is the choice. What do you say? Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 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 very good. So that was question number 10. A is the choice. Let's check the answer. Question number 10, A is the choice. Is right. Okay, so we are going to the next question, and that question number 11 is showing up on your screen. When a nucleus of uranium 235 absorbs a neutron, nuclear fission occurs. In a typical reaction, the total mass decreases by 3 expo minus 28 kg, given that the speed of light c is 3 expo 8 meter per second. Approximately how much energy is released? This is the famous equation of Einstein, in which the concept is that the mass can be converted into energy and energy can be converted into mass. We say mass and energy, they both are interconvertible. E equals to mc square. This is the speed of light. This is the mass which converted into energy. So we have to calculate how much energy will be produced. Let me show you my work, and here we have E equals to mc square. That's the equation of Einstein, which relates the mass which is converted into energy and the amount of energy produced. E equals to mc square. The m value is 3 expo minus 28. The c value, the speed of light, is 3 expo 8, and we have to put a square around it. It's the game of calculator. You will write 3 expo minus 28 multiply bracket start 3 expo 8 bracket close square equals to, the answer will be 2.7 expo minus 11. When you round this off 2.7 thing, it will become approximately 3. So your final answer will be 3 expo minus 11 joules. So let's check, do we have this option? 3 expo minus 11 joules. 3 expo minus 11 joules. Yeah, we got it. C is the right option. Let's check this answer, and then we will ask you. 11C is the right answer. So we are good. Do you understand this numerical?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's clear. Question number 12 showing up on your screen. A car is driven along a level road. The total energy input from the petrol is 60 kilojoules and the car wastes 45 kilojoules of energy. What is the efficiency of the car? You see, the total input energy is 60,000 joules. The wasted energy is 45,000 joules. So the useful output energy will be input energy minus the wasted energy. 60,000 joules minus 45,000 joules, it will give you 15,000 joules. So the useful output energy is 15,000 joules. So the formula for the efficiency is useful output energy divided by the total input energy multiply 100. Let me show you my work. Here we have. So the input energy is 60,000 joules. The wasted energy is 45,000 joules. So the useful energy will be 15,000 joules. Formula is useful output energy divided by input energy multiply 100. So we will have the final answer will be 25%. So the efficiency is 25%. So let's check. Do we have this in options? The efficiency is 25%. So I think question number 12B is the answer. So let's check. Question number 12B is the answer. So our answer is right. Do you understand? Do you understand this numerical?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Which represents the main energy changes that take place in a coal-fired power station. You see, in a coal-fired power station, initially the coal has chemical potential energy. Then we burn the coal, and from here we boil the water, and we get the steam, and that steam produced is used to turn the turbines, and then we use generators and we produce electricity. So the initial energy should be chemical potential energy in the coal, and then from that we should get the heat, and from there we should get the kinetic energy, and finally we will have the electric energy. So what's the choice? What do you think?
A.
I think A is the answer. I think A is the right answer. Chemical, heat, kinetic, electric. And do you agree?
Yes, sir.
So we are good to go. Let's check the answer. Question number 13. A is the right answer, man. The diagram shows a glass block resting on a tabletop. The area of the block in contact with the table is X, and the area of the tabletop is Y. The weight of the block is P, and the weight of the table is Q. Which expression gives the pressure exerted on the table by the block? Pressure exerted on the table by the block. So that should be the weight of the block divided by the area of the block in contact with the table. The weight of the block is P, and the area of the block in contact with the table is X. So pressure is weight divided by contact area. So I think P by X. What do you think? What do you say? Question number 14. 14A is the choice. Our answer is right. Do you understand? This is very simple. He's only trying to confuse you. Dua, you said something?
सर मैं कही थी क्वेश्चन एक सेकंड पढ़ लूं फिर आगे कर लेना.
Read this question. A very simple question, but he tried to confuse you because 2 times he gave area and 2 times he gave weight, so that you get confused. We are waiting for you. If you will say, then we'll go to the next question.
Sir, P by X कैसे है?
We want to find out the pressure of the block on the table. So that will be weight of the block divided by the area of the block in contact with the table. The weight of the block is P, and the area of the block in contact with the table is X.
Okay, sir, समझ आ गया.
Okay. So we are moving to the next question. The next question is question number 15, showing up on your screen. The diagram shows the level X and Y in a liquid manometer when the gas tap is opened. You see, here we have a gas cylinder. Here we have a manometer. This side is open to the atmosphere. In this both the limbs of the manometer, we have some liquid. It might be, I think, mercury. It's normally mercury. And you see here is the difference between the levels of the mercury in both the limbs. The limb which is on the side of the gas cylinder, it is lower, and the limb which is on the atmospheric side, that is higher. The level of the mercury is higher. So what's the difference between the levels? The total difference between the levels in both the limbs is 18 centimeter. It means because the gas has pushed the mercury downward, and as compared to the mercury level in the atmospheric side, it means the pressure of the gas is more than the atmosphere pressure. But how much it is more? It is 18 centimeter of that liquid above the atmospheric pressure. It is 18 centimeter above the atmospheric pressure. So what you say?
सर 18 कैसे?
The level difference 9 here, 9. Check what's the difference of level between both the limbs. The level of the mercury. You can count 9 here, 9 here. So total difference is 18.
Okay,
Total
sir.
difference is 18. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Question number 15, D is the right answer. We are going to the next question. Question number 16. A substance consists of particles that are close together and moving past each other at random. And the average speed of the particles is gradually increasing. What best describes the substance? A substance consists of particles that are close together and moving past each other at random. It's liquid. It is liquid. The particles are close together and they are moving past each other. So it is liquid. The average speed of the particles is gradually, if the speed is increasing, it means the kinetic energy is increasing. It means the temperature is increasing. It means the thing is being heated. So what best describes the substance? It's a liquid being heated. What you say? A liquid being heated.
Sir,
Sorry?
A भी हो सकता है.
A liquid being boiled to form a gas. You see, when a liquid is boiling, its average speed do not increase. The temperature remains constant during boiling. So A cannot be the answer. Amna, do you understand the difference? When the boiling will happen, the speed will not increase. So B is the choice. Let's check the answer. 16, B is the right answer. Okay, so we are going to the next question. A liquid in glass thermometer consists of a bulb containing a liquid. The liquid can expand into a very thin capillary tube. The liquid in the thermometer is replaced by another liquid that expands more for the same temperature rise. The new thermometer will have, you see, if you remove the liquid in the thermometer and you put a new liquid which expands more as compared to the previous liquid, the thermometer will become more sensitive because it will expand more for the same temperature. So it will expand more. So it means that the thermometer will become more sensitive. And when the thing will become more sensitive, its range will automatically become smaller. The range of that thermometer will become smaller. It will become more sensitive because the liquid expands more for the same rise in the temperature. And its range will become smaller because the liquid will reach end of the thermometer at a lower temperature. So the range will become smaller, but the greater sensitivity will be there. So what you say? I think B is the right answer. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
let's
सर
check the
रेंज
answer.
कैसे कम हो गई
17B. What do you say?
रेंज कैसे कम हो गई
You see, for example, if the previous liquid reaches the end of the thermometer at, let's say, 100 degrees centigrade, the previous liquid reaches the end, it expands and it reaches the end of the thermometer at 100 degrees centigrade. Now you have put a new liquid which expands more, in the same length of the thermometer. A new liquid who expands more. So the new liquid might reach the end of the thermometer when the temperature is suppose 60. The temperature is 60, it expands more, so it reaches the end of the thermometer. So the range is now up till 60. The range has decreased. What do you say? You understand? Okay. So we are moving to the next question. The diagram shows a vacuum flask and an enlarged view of a section through the flask wall. The main reason for the silvering is to reduce the heat. The main reason for the silvering is to reduce the heat transfer by. When you put a silver color, the silver color is good for one thing. It reduces the transfer of heat by radiation. It cannot stop conduction. It cannot stop convection. It is good to reduce the heat loss by the radiation. So I think this is the answer. Let me check. 18B is the answer. Okay. What do you say?
जी सर बी ही होगा
Okay, we are going to the next question. The diagram shows a wave moving into a shallower water. The wavelength of the waves is reduced because, you see, when the water wave is in deep water and then it comes on shallower water, into shallower water, the wavelength will reduce. The frequency do not change. The frequency in the deep water, the frequency in the shallow water is same. The frequency do not change. The speed will reduce. The wavelength will reduce in the shallow water, but the frequency will remain same. Okay. So what's the options? Both the frequency and the speed decreases. That's wrong. The frequency do not change. Both the frequency and the speed increases. That's wrong. Frequency do not change. Only the frequency increases. That's wrong. The frequency do not change. Only the speed decreases. Yes. The wavelength has reduced and the speed has reduced, but the frequency will remain same. So the best option is D, I think. Question number 19, the best option is D. Question number 19, the best option is D. What do you say? Is this clear?
सर फ्रीक्वेंसी क्यों नहीं
यस
चेंज
सर
हो रही
That's the rule in our syllabus. The frequency do not change. The frequency do not depends upon the medium. It depends upon the source which is producing the wave. The frequency only changes if the frequency of the source which is producing the sound, which is producing the wave, I mean, that changes. So the frequency depends upon the source which is producing the wave. It does not depend upon the shallow water, deep water.
ओके सर
Okay. The image is formed in a plane mirror. So here you can see we have an object. Here is the incident ray. Here is the reflected ray. We have prolonged the reflected ray behind the mirror, and we have prolonged this behind the mirror. Where these two lines intersect, you form an image is seen. So which statement must be true? That this y is the angle of incidence. This x is the angle of reflection. The angle of incidence and angle of reflection they both should be equal to each other. So the angle X and angle Y, they should be equal to each other. And the distance of the image behind the mirror and the distance of the object in front of the mirror, both these distances are equal to each other. It means that the D0 and the D1, they should be equal. So what is the option?
A, sir.
D.
Somebody is saying A. The angle of incidence is Y. The angle of reflection is X. They should be equal. The distance of the object from the mirror and the distance of the image from the mirror is D0 and Di. They should be equal to each other. So we think C is the best option. Let's check. Question number 20. C is the right option, sir. Question number 20, C is the right option. So, let's go.
सर हमने टोटल कितने MCQs करने हैं?
As many as possible.
सर इतने काफी नहीं?
So you think this is enough? Okay, so let's stop. So, for this session, we have done 20 MCQs. This was summer 2004, paper 1, and the rest of the MCQs we will do in another session. So it was pleasure teaching you all. So thank you very much. Have a good day. God bless you all.